Hello, my name is Robert Dickey, and this is EPA3, English for Public Administration, Level 3, 333, also called 행정영어 3. First, I'd like to ask, did you see the course introductory video? It's a few years old, but it's basically correct. In EPA3, we can have a lot of flexibility in what we do. Students will help make decisions from their choices in terms of what we do in this class. Okay, let's take a look at the current situation. First of all, I'm going to enlarge myself a little bit. Not too much, I'm a little shy. Haha, do you know me? Anyway, the current situation. We're off campus. Yeah, we're off campus. And why? Well, because this thing, which we often see, this logo referring to the coronavirus. The coronavirus. So, no one really knows how long we're going to have to be off campus, because this is all new science. Basically, kind of like SARS some years ago, MERS some years ago. The illness is ahead of the science. And everyone's trying to figure out exactly what's going on, how we're going to recover from this, how long it's going to take. That means in terms of education, we have the same problems. No one really knows how long we're going to be off campus. You probably know that the elementary schools were scheduled to go back on March 6th or something like that. And then it got rescheduled to March 23. And universities were scheduled initially to, of course, to start March 2nd, and then was pushed back to March 16. And now it's 2 weeks of online classes from March 16 to March 29, something like that. And we're talking about coming back to school on March 30th. But no one really knows. Anything could change. So right now, we should plan for online classes or distance learning classes for 2 to 4 weeks. The official word is 2 weeks. I'm guessing it might be a little longer. Okay? But things can change from week to week. When I was in the U.S. Marine Corps, in Korean language you say 해병대, our sergeants used to say, "You's got to be flexible. You's got to be flexible." Yeah, we have to be flexible. The environment is in flux. Things are constantly changing. And so we've got to be adaptable. And so we're starting this way. But things could change. Right now, we are in a distance learning, online learning kind of environment. And I've taught online classes before, a few different times, a few different places. So this is kind of strange for me because it's a different system. Let's move ahead. Come on, computer. There we go. In our first meeting together, this first session, this first online session, I wanted to talk about our learning objectives for this session. And the first objective is, of course, to introduce this course, this class, EPA3. And then we'll do a quick introduction of your instructor, me. We will introduce the materials and the systems that we're using. That will include things like the CTL system, the books, the syllabus, and communication systems. In military they call them comms, the communication systems. Maybe in this first session you'll get to know me a little bit, and maybe if we have enough time, we will go through my guidelines for how to introduce yourself. In general, videos should last 45 or 50 minutes, up to 75 minutes. Our class meeting officially is 75 minutes, but in the video system we can be a little bit short. So we'll see how far we get today in this session, and then we'll talk about the next one. Okay, so this is a quick slide of the CTL system. I just wanted to introduce some of my translations, and then we can jump into the CTL and work on it that way. This picture is a little bit small. We'll go into the CTL in a bigger way. And also, I wanted to, well, not enough of that for now. Okay, so when you log in, you have a choice of logging in English or Korean. You know that. This is a quick translation of the different sections on the board. The Gongji Sahang is what they call the notice board. I sometimes call it announcements. 강의 영상 is the videos, the lecture videos they call it. I call it a video board. And I want to point out that we have deadlines on these videos. If you miss them, you miss class. Then there's the Q&A system. They call it the Chili Yongdak, something like that. I usually call it questions or Q&A. Somewhere on one of the smartphone or something it calls it Q&A, but Q&A is much more common. Here they call it kwaje or report. My son calls it sukje. It really, for me, means assignments, and they can be very, very small, very modest things. We've got a few things coming up. They're very light. They're not difficult. Then there is the exam section, the testing section. We will use it for quizzes. We have a quiz coming up in the next couple of weeks. It's very light, very small, just a way to check and see if you're watching the videos. Really watching, really paying attention to the videos. Oh, I just noticed I didn't turn on my lights. Let's turn those on. It will make things a little bit better. Maybe. A lot of shine on my head. I have a light over my head in the room. I'm recording from my home office. It's a mess, so I don't want you to see it, so I've kind of pushed things off to the side. But the lamp is a bit behind me, the overhead lamp, so it makes a lot of shine. So exams or quizzes. Then they call it the 학습 자료실. It's my favorite part of the website. It's where I'll give you lots of information, lots of support. Different places on in the English versions they call it study reference board. Another place calls it the PDS, which I can only guess what PDS means, but I usually call it the e-board. And then finally there is the 자료 게시판, which is often called the BBS in this system for bulletin board system. I usually call it the chat board. Okay, so that's a quick introduction to what's going on here. I need to fix this light a little bit maybe. And then let's jump into the website. Okay, so first I want to show you it's just the ordinary website, typical browser, nothing special. And the web address is, as usual, ctl.kmu.ac.kr. Nothing strange there. I'm going to move this up. While we're chatting here, I want to point out the clock I've got going on here. This is for your benefit and for my benefit. Basically, it lets you know how far along we are in this video. Now, if you watch through the university's web system, the CTL, it has a little clock on it. And if you watch this through YouTube, there's a clock timer there also. But please don't watch it through the YouTube because you don't get school credit there. You only get school credit for attendance if you watch and complete in the university system. We'll talk more about that. So we're on the university CTL page. Close this. Log in as usual. Bang. Now, you always have the option of logging in English or Chinese or whatever. I'm going to do everything here in the Korean version. So there's many ways to enter the CTL system. Personally, I usually come over here to the 강의실, home, and go down to 강의 과목. Click on that. I like this system because in the My Classrooms, once we go through, we first see all the classes available, and we need to click on EPA3 and enter. Now in this system, first of all, we've got this way of accessing things, but we also have a kind of a weekly timetable. It's not perfect. It has some problems. But it gives us a starter, a hint of how much time we have or when things are happening. Please notice that for this semester, the first week and the second week are actually 2 weeks long. And that is basically to give everybody a chance to catch up with life. Everything's new for everybody. So in here, as mentioned before, we have these various sections. My plan is to walk through some of these sessions. Now, the key point with these schedules is, these weekly listings, is it might not show everything. Why? Because these are on the computer-based timetable. So for example, I'm making a video right now. It's not here because I haven't uploaded it yet. But once I do, you'll see it. If something has been uploaded but it doesn't have a date mark on it, then the system will assign it the editing date, the date I created it. So for example, there are many things you cannot see right now because they don't fit in this week time. Right? They're pages already made before March 16, already made. So the computer says, oh, they're not in this week, they're before this week. That's why you can't see it. But in this system, it's very important that you look at these pack boxes. We're going to go through these and unpack as things go through. Now again, remember, I'm creating videos in advance, so they're not showing up here yet. But you must watch the videos during the correct time, during the week that they appear. If you don't, you're absent. I cannot stress it enough. There's no fix. You're absent. Alright, so first let's go into the notices. I have one notice here at this point. Now, what you see on the screen now is my version. So I have some functions, some buttons, and some viewings that are a little bit different than yours. Don't mind that. I'm just walking through this here on this recording, but you can always look at this in your computer, and you should look at it in your computer. Alright? 15 minutes. Are you tired? More to go. Alright. In notice number 1, you can see that I wrote translation below. I will very rarely, not often, provide a translation. But for this first one, it is there. Let me read it very quickly. Since February 2020, Korea has been struck with a global pandemic known as coronavirus, also known as novel coronavirus and COVID-19 and a whole bunch of other names. Daegu has been particularly affected. All universities have had to adjust their teaching styles and schedules, especially schools in Daegu, like Gaemyeong. As of now, we plan to delay the start of the semester to March 16 and then teach the first 2 weeks by video lecture and perhaps other forms of distance studies. But all that could change. We don't know how long the problems will continue. As I mentioned earlier, right now the rough guess is 2 up to 4 weeks of video lecturing. I don't want to say now what my guess is. But anyway, we do our best. Be sure to look around all the sections of the CTL, this electronic area I call the CTL, and keep up. The videos, for example, are only available for a limited time. After that, you're marked as absent, and there is no cure for absence. Please do not ask. And there's that image that I showed you earlier. There is some duplication in this system. And just below is a translation. You won't normally see that. Okay, that's our only notice at this point in time. I tend to use the back arrow, but there are other ways to do things, and I let you have your style. Okay, videos. At the moment that I'm recording this, there's only one video. This is the video that I made a few years ago as a course introduction. I suggest you watch it. I'm not going to grade this video, viewing attendance, but it'll give you a nice orientation to the things we're doing in class. The next thing, before we go further, is to look at the syllabus. Okay? Syllabus is up here, 강의 계획서. And as everything else that we look here, it's on the website. You can access your own at any time. I guess you can print it out. Alright, so this shows the official teaching schedule when we go back to face-to-face classrooms. There's 3 credits for this class. This has my email address. I'll talk about it later too. Feel free to send me an email anytime. My counseling hours, which at this point in time, I'm not at school, you're not at school, it doesn't work. Once we come back, we'll follow that. And of course, you can always contact me other times and make appointments. But this time is your time. My campus phone number, of course, I'm not usually at campus right now. I can't answer that phone. But in a few minutes, I'll give you some more ways to contact me. Alright, so what is this class? Well, what's the purpose? EPA3 prepares students for the uses of English in professional life, including readings and discussions of published materials, and the language skills needed to enter professional employment, including interview and written listening tests. Blah, 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 right? You don't care? Well, I hope you will care. More and more job interviews, more and more day-to-day life at work requires English. And if you hope to read professionally foreign magazines and journals about your field of business, English will probably be key. Alright, so what are our targets for this class? Well, first, improve your general English skills. Listening, speaking, reading, and writing. We will do very, very little writing. It's not a writing class. I won't test your writing. The more you read, the more you write, the better you'll write. Second, improve your English language skills specific to the field of public administration. as well as in general business matters, general business English. Now, I point out here that the website doesn't really love English, and some of its formatting and writing is weird. It breaks words. We just have to live with that. Third target is learn the English vocabulary and phrases of public administration. Learn how to talk so that people in public administration think you know what you're talking about. We don't want to talk like taxi drivers, okay? We want to talk like educated professionals. And fourth, to prepare for future English lectures in public administration or in other majors. If you want to take an economics class or a business administration class or a marketing class in English, this class is going to help you get ready to do that. And that could include lectures overseas or working overseas. Okay, so what do you need to do to get ready for my class? First, come to class and be present. All right? That means present means participate in discussions. Be on time. Don't sleep in my class. If you're sleeping, you're not here. I don't want your body. I want your brains, okay? Bring your book and bring any assignments to the classroom. That's being in attendance. Do the reading before class. At least try. The reading could be one page in the book, could be one handout, but the reading is the basis for what we'll be talking about, what you'll be talking about. Take notes in class and print out any materials on the 학습자료. You need to keep a notebook. It's open book test. It's open notes test. I will grade your notebooks. Keep notes. Complete all your assignments. There will be assignments. There's a few more assignments in this distance learning online video course because we can't chat in class. So I need to collect things from you a different way. Finally, respect your classmates. Respect them. Listen to them. What they say, what they think can be included in your test. So don't just ignore them. What are we using in this class? Well, first of all, we're going to start with the book Global Links 2. Global Links 2. I'll talk about that in a minute. We will use materials that I give you through this 학습자료. And you will have your own lecture notes. You need those. Okay, how do we grade? Pretty normal. It's here. You can see it. Attendance 10%. The final test is 30%. The midterm test is 20%. Assignments 10%. Participation 15%. Notebook 15%. Be ready to speak English every day when we're in the class face to face. You can't just listen to my class. I suggest you took EPA1, EPA2 before, or if you took English Communication, the freshman class, English Communication 2 or 3, or other similar conversation class in university. Or even maybe English Communication 1 with an A grade. Okay, but this class does push you harder than EPA1. I don't want to say that it is more difficult English. Yeah, a little bit. But in EPA1, there's going to be a lot of true beginners. Really, they took English Communication 1 in university and they got a C. They just kind of got by. In this class, I want you to talk. I don't care if you speak perfectly, but you got to talk. All right? So, the basis for this class, you can read it in your own time. Basically, it just says English has become the language of the world. You don't have to agree with that. Some parts even, I'm not sure I agree with that, but it seems to be what people are saying, so we kind of have to live with it a little bit. Yeah. Okay. But definitely, English is the main language for the world's important journals and scholarly books. So if you hope to get ahead in the world, if you want to keep up with what's happening in the world, you don't want to be dependent on Korean. You want to have a second language that you can read in and work in, and for most people that'll be English. Okay, when we look at the week-to-week plan, you see there's really nothing here. There's really nothing here because I want students' input into how fast we work, what we do, how we do. In the first week is basically introductions, and after that, week by week, your input will be important to me. Now, it's a little hard for me to adjust so much by video because I have to prepare videos in advance. But definitely when we get back in the class, your input's very important. And even now, if you send me messages or I put up a poll, a survey to ask who wants to do X or Y or Z, your input will help us to decide what to do. Okay? So that's the Kangege Hexo. Let's go back. Alright, so we've talked about the notice board, and we've talked about the importance of keeping up with videos. Let's take a look at the Q&A section, the question board. Basically, this is not really for me to ask questions. It's really for you to ask questions. I'm not going to use it as a teacher questions board. So if you want to raise your hand in class, oh, professor, I want to know more about, write your question in the Q&A board. Then I will answer the whole class somehow, somewhere, in a video, in a post on the Haksap Jaryo. If you only want to ask me directly and you don't want other students to know, ask through SMS, the text message on your phone. My number is 010-2272-0968. Or through Kakao, Robert J. Dickey. Or email me at rjdickey@kmu.ac.kr. Now, I don't need to spend too much time on that because it's on the Haksap Jaryo in this section, the Q&A section, and you can find it there. Q&A. What's Professor Dickey's address? It's there. All right, back. The next section is the assignment section. Now, this may change before we actually are in the week. Right now I have 3 things here. There might be 4. There might be 5. But these are all very small assignments. For example, before that, please notice that sometimes, and I don't know why, in this system, down is up and up is down. What I mean is, actually the first assignment is on the bottom here. Oops, nope, not this time. That's why I said down is up, up is down. This time the first assignment is here, written. And then the next assignment. So we got 1, 2, and then 3 in the middle. So when you see these assignments, be sure to read. They will tell you if there's something you need to do first. They will tell you if there's something you need to do second. Yeah, a little confusing. So let's just take a quick look here. And you'll see it says you'll need to be ready to do your self-introduction following the guidelines. The guidelines come in the next video. And you need to record your voice doing your self-introduction, but that's a different assignment. So please don't confuse assignments. This assignment says, give me your written self-introduction. The way you would say it. Write a script. What are you going to say? And give that to me. Now, my page looks different than yours. Your page will have a box for you to upload a file. I don't care. MS Word, Arehangul, text file, an image file. Whatever the system will take is okay for me. I can read it. Okay? So you're going to upload a file here. If the system gives you a text box, you can just copy the text into it. But I don't think it does. I think it's only an upload. Okay. The second assignment is to record and give me. And we'll talk about that. The third assignment is a name card, and that's later. We'll talk about that. You can see that these assignments carry over to the second week. They actually carry over into the 29th or the 30th. Yeah, April 1st is the day that they're late. So before April 1st. So because of the schedule is double weeks here, it looks like it carries over. But you can see here, on the 30th, the week starting the 30th, this is not here. Okay? Be careful with the clock. The system clock is different. I can't control it. Alright, back. We have quizzes. Again, you cannot see the quiz that I see. You'll get a quiz, tick the box, write a short answer, whatever it is. The first quiz has only 2 questions. And there's a timeline to do it. Don't miss your timeline. 2 more sections. Now I'm going to go down to the 자유게시판 first. I'm going to skip the 학습 자료 because that's the main section. I want to spend more time on it. So take a look at the 자유게시판. Click on the pack box. There's just one post here. It says Student Discussion Zone. This is your place to chat. I will look here only occasionally. Maybe once a week, maybe. If you want me to see something, start your post with Prof. Dicky as the first words at the top in all caps. Make it easy for me to see. Maybe better, massage me in cacao at Robert J. Dickey, or send me an SMS, a text message at 010-2272-0968. 자유게시판. That's your space. Finally, the main spot for me providing you information. There's a lot here. Don't get scared. I work ahead. There's lots of things here going into the second week, etc., etc. Now, again, this can sort things upside down, backwards, forwards. On the 학습 자료, the first thing is always at the bottom. So if we get more and more stuff, it will create page 2 and page 3. The first thing will always be on the last page at the bottom. So this says, number 1, welcome to class. If we click on it, it gets a little bit bigger. Welcome to class. Hi, my name is Professor Robert Dickey, Professor Dickey. Everything is different this semester as we begin a new school year with the coronavirus closing classrooms. It's not very convenient, and we're all learning to do things in new ways. All of us. Me too. So let's go slow and be careful. Now I'm going to talk a little fast here, but you know, after you finish this video the first time, don't stop. Finish it. Then the second time, if you want to, you can slow it down, you can stop it, you can skip forward to sections that are important. But the first time you play the video, you cannot stop it. If you stop it, you lose, you start over, no points until you finish it completely the first time, the first official play. Anyway, let's go slow and be careful, step by step. So this section is the e-board called the 학습 자료실 in Korean and the study reference board in the English version of this CTL system, 교수 학습 system. We'll be using other sections of the CTL also. You need to check the CTL system several times per week, at least 3 times per week, because things can change. Notice that in this e-board and in some other places, the newest things are at the top. Be sure to look down to find things you haven't yet read. Also be very careful for deadlines. For some activities, such as watching videos, if you don't finish on time, you're marked absent or you don't get the points. No late benefit, No excuses. I'm emphasizing things. I'm saying the same things over and over again. That means it's important. That means probably you should write it in your notebook. Okay, so we were down at the bottom, but the next thing is actually at the top, because I pinned this to the top because it's so important and we need to look at it first. So this is the second thing that I talk about right on this CTL. Books and more. Our main textbook is called Global Links 2. It's green and red. Be careful, because there's also Global Links 1, which has a purple section here, not red. Global Links Book 1 is for my EPA1 class. EPA3 uses the Global Links 2 book. The school bookstore should have this book. You can also buy it in many online shops. You probably won't find it in a physical bookstore. It's not that popular. It's a really good book. I've used several books and come back to Global Links because it just does a good job, even though it's now basically 20 years old. I have the original version of this book, and it came with a CD-ROM. A CD-ROM, yeah. I think the newer versions have a web address, a URL, where you can download the student audios. Not sure. But anyway, I have all the student audios, and they're attached on this web page, on this post. You see it right here, Global Links 2 Student Audio Zip. Okay. Now the problem is, this is a zipped file. That's no problem on your computer. Might be a problem on your smartphone. Okay, notice the audio is a zipped folder. You might need to unzip the folder on your computer if you want to have audio files on your smartphone or mobile device. My smartphone is a little bit older, and sometimes it doesn't like zipped folders very well. So I would unzip it on my computer and then copy it over to my cell phone. But if your phone handles zip files, no problem, no problem. And you don't have to put them on your phone. That's just one option. Also attached on this page is the front and back sections of the book. That's here. It's a PDF. That gives you some time to get the book, because it can take a week or 2 weeks. Who knows how long, how fast or slow delivery is going to be. Please, no photocopies of the book. That's illegal. I was a lawyer once upon a time. You cannot have photocopies of the book for my class. But you can reuse a book. If your friend gives you their book, that's fine. If they wrote in the book, well, it's better for you to erase it so you get all the benefit of the activities. But I'm not going to give you minus points if your book is written in, okay? We're also going to use some other materials that I will give you through the CTL system. There's one thing in particular I want to show you. This is a book, English for Public Administration, that I did for public officials in Vietnam. So it has a few pieces in it that we're going to use in this class, probably. Also, you need... Oh, let me show you my Global Links book. My book is quite beat up. It's quite old. If you can see carefully, you'll probably see there's some tears on it or something. The pages inside are marked up. Oh, there's my CD. See, some pages have, maybe you can see, some pages have some writing on it or whatever. The other thing that I want you to get is a notebook. Any kind of a notebook. This one happens to be B5 size, B5. But if you want A4 size or something, that's fine. I don't really care what size. Bigger is a little more convenient, especially if you have A4 papers and you want to put inside, you can put them in this way. This book has lined pages. I think lined pages are maybe easier, better, but if you want not lined paper, that's fine. I don't care. It's your notebook. As long as you can take good notes, you're okay. Alright, so let's take a look at the book. Or, let's see, we're at 44. Maybe we'll wait on the book for the next video. Let's see what happens. Take a look at my notes. Alright, if we go back down here, the first one was welcome to class. The second is self-introductions. We're probably going to do that next session, but it would do you well to look at it first. Alright, technologies. In general, you're not going to need to worry about the Edwards system for my class. Most of our work is going to take place on the CTL. If it's a distance learning class through videos, or if it is face-to-face class, I use the CTL for most of my projects, most of my work. The attendance app, the Janja Chulsuk system, I don't like it. I've never liked it. I don't use it in my regular class, and of course, we can't use it here because you're not in the room with me. It works by proximity. So, we won't be using that. Again, your videos, watching the videos on time, that's what decides whether you are in class or not in class. So be sure to finish your videos on schedule. The CTL will be the heart of our learning system. In terms of external apps, I know some professors, especially some of our foreign professors, really like to use outside systems. And I've used many of them in the past. But for this class, I haven't decided on using any external apps. Going to try to push the CTL system as far as we can. Of course, you can always use text messaging to contact me on the cell phone, 010-2272-0968. Or in Kakao, you can look me up by cell phone number, or find me at Robert J. Dickey, RobertJDickey, and you can send me an email at rjdickey@kmu.ac.kr. Oh, by the way, my Kakao address is not registered with my university email address. So if you try to find me on Kakao using the KMU email, you won't. Secondly, please do not contact me after 10 p.m. And also not before 7 a.m. My wife gets angry. She thinks it's not right for students to contact a professor late at night. So, you should know this. My wife is a Gyeongsang woman. She's a Miryang Bakshi. You know, these Gyeongsang women, they're tough women. And I'm afraid she's going to beat me. So please don't contact me after 10 o'clock unless it's a really true emergency. Emergency is not, oh, professor, I forgot my homework. Oh, professor, I have a question for class tomorrow. Emergency is, professor, I'm in the hospital, I broke my leg, I can't go to school tomorrow. That's an emergency. Otherwise, please don't contact me too late. Alright, let's take a look at the school calendar. Slightly more difficult for me to get there. Hang on a second. Alright, the school calendar. You probably heard that the school calendar has changed. I'm going to walk through it for you for now. This was revised March 5th. So on this schedule it says the beginning of the spring semester is the 16th. Fine. Online classes from 16 to 27. Okay. We kind of know that. Face-to-face classes begin the 30th. We hope. They wrote here in English it can be extended. Okay? Things can change. But what we need to worry about right now is the fact that there are some school holidays that we have to make up. Now, originally, our university schedules 15 weeks of instruction. That's 30 class meetings when you have 2 classes in 1 week. 15 weeks of instruction in 16 weeks. So we can miss some days and it fits. But now we're starting school 2 weeks late. Instead of March 2, we're starting March 16. And so the holidays that we had some cushion for, we've lost. That means we have to look at these things, these yellow boxes. The school position is these holidays. For example, April 15 is Elections Day. April 30th is Buddha's birthday. These are now officially rescheduled for Saturdays. The 4th and the 25th. And the same is true for May 1, which is International Workers' Day, Labor Day, and May 5th, Children's Day. Each of these have been rescheduled, the 9th and the 23rd. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not crazy about coming to teach on Saturdays. But actually, as a matter of fact, I teach every Saturday. We have a graduate school program and our classes are Saturday. I teach Saturday late afternoon from 3:30 until 5:30 or something like that. So if I have to come to school on Saturday, I can, but you probably don't want to. And for some of you, you might have jobs or whatever. All right. There's one other holiday to talk about. School Foundation Day, school birthday, is the 20th. But that one was already scheduled originally in the old system for Monday, June 22. So this one's already taken care of. We don't have to worry about that. There are 3 opportunities right now, according to the school. One is teach on Saturday. Not my favorite idea. Number 2, they said we can schedule makeup classes in the evenings. Well, I have a night class already. So, I'm not really excited about teaching night classes, but for EPA3, if we decided night was the best way, we could do that. The third choice is to do distance learning, video lectures, or whatever. And we might do that. That's a possibility. In fact, I already have some recordings from past times we could use. But this is something we'll talk about in the weeks ahead. I'm not in a hurry right now. We've got 2 weeks before the 4th. The 4th is the first officially scheduled makeup day. And if we want to do something different, I have some school paperwork to do. That's not your problem. We just have to decide what we're going to do. Okay, so school calendar. Dun dun dun. We've gone through the CTL. That's done. And we have gone through our learning objectives. Except we didn't get to how to introduce yourself. Well, we're going to have to save that for our next video because we're already at 49 minutes. So we've hit our goal of time for today. Now, get to know your instructor. Let's see, what have I not told you? You know that I have a wife. You know that I have a son and a daughter, right? I mentioned that. You know that I've been in Korea for a while. So I think for the moment I'll just repeat that my name is Robert Dickey. And that is enough for today's lesson, and we'll do next time. So thank you and bye-bye.